going into our winners finals match between Team Predators and the Salty Skyborne on Clash at Blackcliff. My name is Urs. Let's take a look at these ship builds. First off, for Team Predators, we have the Greasy Dream. It is a squid piloted by Mighty Keb. Oh, here we go. This is the tech play here. Light Carronade for the squid, both front and back. That's going to be extremely effective against the Junker's fat balloons, and also bringing that Banshee as well. Their ally, the Bobobula, piloted by Princess Tutu. It is the standard Hades Mobula that we've seen so many times. 2 Artemis and Light Carronade Flamethrower for the close range. Their opponents, the Salty Skyborne, we have the Rozkov, a Junker piloted by Sunstrom. Left side Gap Mortar, right side Hades Double Artemis. Their ally, the Salty Junker, piloted by Soderholm. It is a right Gap Mortar, front Flare Gun, left side Dual Merc. This is something we do not see very often on the Junker, the Mercury Field Gun. This gives you some very long range, hyper accurate armor piercing, but the trade-off you're giving is that you're losing the burst damage from the explosive damage from the Artemis. So you're going to be losing your killing potential, and you're also going to be losing component disable potential. And the Merc is also a very difficult gun to shoot off the broadside of a Junker. The Junker's turning throws off the shots a lot. Unlike with a Mobula where the gun is pointing straight forward, like broadside Mercury can be a huge pain. And you also see here that they're not going to be able to arc those Hades shots over the pipe. So Greasy Dream is going to be taking no fire from the Salty Junker until they're able to get into close range. At the same time, the Bobobula is going to be trying to go for a little bit of a flank here, coming up on the blind side of the Salty Skyborne, but they're going to have to be doing it quickly because the Salty Skyborne is slowly closing in on the Greasy Dream. Already managing to take down the hull armor on the squid, and Greasy Dream's going to be backing out. His engines are protected, so that is good. He does not really need to be too worried about losing those to the Artemis at this high altitude, but I mean, whatever plan that the Predators are going for here, it seems like it's maybe coming apart at the seams a little bit. The Bobobula just taking so long to get into this fight. The Greasy Dream still dodging these shots, trying to keep the focus on him. I mean, I'm sure the Salty Skyborne realizes something must be up. Like, why would this squid just be sitting in front of our guns, moving up and down? And now that they have a spot on the Bobobula, we will probably be seeing a very quick reaction, changing their focus to the Red Mobula. And that is another advantage of the Junker. Given that it turns very quickly, they can switch to a new target with little notice. Greasy Dream has taken this opportunity to move in close. They have taken down the balloon of the Salty Junker, but losing their whole armor in the process. Mortars coming out on the Greasy Dream, taking about 40% permahull damage. They can take down the balloon with that frontal light carronade, but they're going to have a lot of difficulty getting kills. Although if the Rozkov leaves their ally to go deal with the Mobula, this means the Greasy Dream has the Salty Junker all to themselves, and with enough time, that light carronade will eventually get the kill with the assistance of the ground. And we're going to see them make impact here. Bobobula even putting in a little bit of fire from a high altitude. And the Rozkov has been forced to come back and push the Greasy Dream away. Yeah, Greasy Dream losing their whole armor again. Roskov's going to try to body block them, keep them in this corner of the map. They do not want to let the squid escape, because if they can very easily get the kills here if they just get mortars. They need mortars, which are not there. Perhaps the arc's a little too far up. And you see the mortar just dumping there, hoping for a hull break at some point. Unable to get it, very unfortunate. That seemed like an almost guaranteed kill on the Greasy Dream there, but just not able to utilize the Gat mortar in concert to take down the squid. And now it looks like red team's going to try to dual focus the Roskov. They are taking quite a bit of damage from the Bobobula, and the assisted light carronade of the Greasy Dream is going to force them down. Oh, but the positioning from the Bobobula, I'm not quite sure. It almost looks like they were trying to go for a ram. But, okay, finally, blue team finally getting the kill on the squid. But it seemed like they weren't expecting the balloon of the Roskov to go down, so they sort of sailed over them. Not able to get to kill, and now they're in a pretty bad spot here. These Junkers are going to be able to easily outmaneuver this Mobula. And we have two sets of Gat mortar. Like this, the Mobula is not going to be able to survive at close range. Gatling's going to come out. They're going to try to Hydra out. Doing a good job dodging those mortars, actually. And this may give them enough time to put some distance between them, get out of the Gat mortar range. But because the Hades Artemis is something that they'll be able to deal with a little better. Greasy Dream has respawned. He is coming back in. It looks like his target is going to be the Roskov. But at the same time, anytime he charges in like this, he's going to be taking at least one Gatling gun. No, the mortar's not quite on point. But Bobula has been keeping the Salty Yunker suppressed. They've been having a little difficulty punching through the whole armor, but I mean, as long... Oh, Bobula, gotta be careful here. Just rising up out of that Gat mortar. This is a really weird spot for red team, because they have that squid, they want to close the distance. But at the same time, because the two Junkers have two sets of Gat mortar, like any close range engagement, the Salty Skyborne is going to have a huge advantage in firepower. So it's real tricky. It's kind of a fine line that they have to walk across, where they get close enough to engage the carronade of the Greasy Dream, but also evade the return Gat mortars. And Bobobula's been doing a good job of that. Every time he loses his hull armor, he hydros up. It can be very difficult to hit a hydroing Mobula that's moving upwards very quickly with those mortars. Mortar's not the fastest projectile. Also not it's kind of a heavy gun. It's difficult to move it upwards. And at the same time, it seems like the Greasy Dream once again has the Salty Yunker kind of locked down. They're having a little difficulty keeping the balloon suppressed. Was that actually a Mercury shot coming out from the Salty Yunker, taking out the light carronade? In any respect, the Rostkov is going to come back and assist their ally. Oh, and here comes mortars. This might be a kill on the Greasy Dream. Gatling finishing them off. I like Carronade Squid. Light Carronade used to be the standard for the Squid. It was a very annoying kind of suppression build. You put Light Carronade on front flamer on the right side, and it is very difficult to keep your ship up. Just your balloon going down, everything catching on fire. You rebuild the balloon, it immediately catches on fire again. But in the February nerf, or excuse me, the February patch, they did nerf both of those guns, so we've been seeing a lot less Light Carronade Squids. I believe they nerfed the damage output by 25%. And it was already kind of a fringe build, so this is something we don't see very often. And as you can see, even when they get one of these ships in a 1v1 fight, it just takes them so long to kill them because the damage output is so low that I'm not sure if it was the correct decision here. I mean, I know, you know, the Junkers have these big balloons and they're very vulnerable. And that's what that was probably the thought process behind bringing that Squid build, but really not working out for the Predators here. Greasy Dream going to try to close the distance here. He does have some clouds moving in, so he might not get spotted until he's right up on these two Junkers, which is what he wants. He wants the element of surprise, Light Carronade coming out. They are, see, the Light Carronade now, like the main difference is the Light Carronade now has a lot of difficulty taking down a balloon in one clip. And what you see from the Greasy Dream is that they have to use the Banshee to finish off the balloon, because Light Carronade just does not have enough damage output. And see, in this situation, like, they've knocked out the balloon, but with the Gat mortars coming back out, they can't stick around. They have to leave. There's too much damage incoming. And I feel like with the armor going down here, they're just barely able to get underneath the Salty Junker, get onto their long-range side. Roskov, however, getting finished off by the Babobula. So here is the opportunity for Predators to tie this up. Junker's not going to be able to escape. It's a Junker. It's very... You know, I've been talking about all the advantages of the Junker for most of this game, but it is a very slow ship, so when you're in a 2v1 situation like this, well, they might be able to pick up this kill in the Greasy Dream, but no. No, they're not going to be going to be able to. It's not a fast ship, so once you've moved into position, that's kind of where you're going to be until the end of the fight. Seven minutes remaining on the timer. The Salty Skyborne, they did they get the first kill of the match? I'm actually not quite sure. But with this tie situation, both teams definitely going to be wanting to get that third kill before the timer expires. And given that both the red ships are going to go into the next fight with so much damage on them, this is going to be very difficult for Red Team. I mean, I'm not sure how the Greasy Dream is going to be able to engage this, because they're moving into the close range of the Junker. They're going to lose their whole armor. And then, like, 2 mortar shots will kill them. And already being forced back. Rostkov moving forward. He wants to engage close range side on the Babobula. Whereas the Greasy Dream is just sitting back here impotent, trying to make something happen. It looks like he wants to dual focus the Rostkov with his ally, taking out the balloon. But now the Salty Junker is coming in from behind. And with that Gatling gun, but no mortars. That was a very dangerous spot for the Greasy Dream to be. If the Salty Junker's gunners had been on point, that would have been a very easy kill for them. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of... I mean, as You know, these builds have been working pretty well for the Salty Skyborne, but we've been seeing a lot of difficulty with the mortar just not coming out in situations where they should be able to get confirmed kills. Greasy Dream you have to be so careful here. Neither team really wants to fully commit. You see them just sitting on either side of the hard cover. But it looks like Babobula is going to be moving in. He's going to be ducking underneath the Salty Yunker. It looks like Salty Yunker is going to be the target. But the damage from the Roskov forcing them out. They will be able to maintain downward Hades arcs. Are they switching to the Roskov now? Oh, Greasy Dream. Yep, there goes Greasy Dream. Looks like Greasy Dream going for a ram, trying to finish off the Roskov's balloon, but knocking out their own balloon in the process as well as the hull armor. But Bobula's in a bad spot. He's not going to be able to get a fast enough kill to even up this fight. He could still potentially escape, but Mobula can be a very slippery ship. If he can find some cover before the dual junkers are able to switch to the long range sides, they might be able to get a ray here. He's going to be rotating around the terrain, just trying to find a moment of hard cover. But the Salty Yunker is going to catch him from the other side. And I think this is probably going to be the end for the red Mobula. Yeah, who needs mortars when you have 2 Gats and a heavily damaged Mobula? The Greasy Dream just poking his head in, saying hello. Time is definitely not on the Predator's side. And it's unclear if they have enough time to really take a full engagement, because that's what they want to do if they want to tie up this score. And with only 3 minutes remaining, that window is rapidly closing. Greasy Dream wants to maintain this close position because they have so little time to take over this fight. Although, as I say that, they're running away. They want to make sure that they maintain spots, maintain visibility, so that the Babobula can lend in some long-range fire while they're charging. Because they have so little time to actually kill these ships before the lobby timer expires. That if the Mobula is doing nothing all this time, I mean, the Mobula spawned extremely far away. And they're just, the seconds are burning away during all of this. I kind of want to see what these, what ammo type these mortars gunners are bringing. This is... looks like greased. So that's maybe some of the difficulty they've been having with their gunning. Salty Yunker instead opting for Lesmok mortars. Be a little easier to hit with. Salty Yunker moving up to try to body block the Greasy Dream, losing their own balloon in the process. I'm not sure that was part of the plan. But now the Babobula has committed to a close range fight. We do see the light carronade continuing to blend down the Salty Yunker. Greasy Dream's going to be taking the Roskov. Greasy Dream going to be losing their hull armor. We see like a couple mortars coming out, but Greasy Dream maintaining a good angle. It's going to be very difficult for the mortar to hit from this position. And they might be able to, if they can blend... no. was going to say if they could blend them down on that pipe that's sticking out, they could maybe get a kill. But now that they're in open air, they're 20 seconds left. They need 2 kills to tie this up, and just not enough time to get them. You know, I feel like if there was no timer, if this engagement had played out to its full conclusion, they might have been able to take it in their favor. But that is not going to be the case. And Salty Skyborne, one might say this is maybe a bit of an upset. Team Predators have been very strong in the previous weeks, but the Salty Skyborne is going to be the team moving on to our grand finals.